Hey everybody, it's Quicken. Am I in focus? Do we want the light on? Wow, that's yellow. Alright guys, it's all vibes. That's the remote for my nightlight. Hey everybody, it's Quicken! So I am coming to you today with the body modification tag. So, if you're unfamiliar with the body modification tag, so am I. So if you know who made it, please tag them appropriately. Thanks for making this tag. I know all about tags. The tattoo collector's tag is a tag that I made that I feel like went over really well on the YouTube machine. So today I'm going to be doing the body modification tag, and you may be wondering, Quicken, you don't have any body mods. True. Kind of. So I currently kind of don't have any body modifications other than the permanent ones that cannot be reversed. I have a lot of those. But I thought it would be fun to do this body modification tag and maybe edit it as I go to like suit my current self and obviously like pay homage to a previous self. Well, still me. How many piercings do you have? So I currently have, I don't have any piercings that I actively wear jewelry in. Although I still have piercings that just cannot close up or never did. Actively I wear no jewelry. For the piercings I still have that are active, my conches, you can see right here, they're never going to close. I do still have conch jewelry. I still have a couple pieces of conch jewelry that I just never really wear. Although the hole is like open, if I were to put a plug in it, it would probably be uncomfortable for like 3 days just so the piercing could get used to wearing jewelry. It would probably feel kind of tight. I don't wear jewelry in it anymore. So my septum, you can see today I have a little septum ring in because, I don't know, I was kind of feeling this video. You guys asked me to make body mod videos, and although I feel like I used to be body mod queen, now I'm like, oh, let someone who actually wears their mods like speak louder than me. But hey. So I have my septum stretched. My septum was stretched to, I think, a 0 or a 00. So it's never going to close. It's always going to be open, so I can like, you know, even with the beads on this, like spin it all the way around. Just cause like, it'll never close up. And even when people are like, oh, make a video on like your stretched septum, I'm kind of just like, oh, I don't even know if I like fully ship it. I don't know if I like regret it, cause I'm kind of just like, I don't love like this. Like, I don't love that. Some of the piercings I feel like in my ears, like I still see like little holes there, and this ear is like super chewed up and gnarly just from like having different piercings. Even these I feel like are still open. I don't do anything with them. My ears are not re-pierced after my earlobe reconstruction surgery, and I don't think I'll get them re-pierced. I also have my reverse navel done, and I like have this suspicion that it's still pretty much open. But I actually don't know. I haven't acted on that. And I had my tongue pierced, and I still feel like when I'm like dehydrated, I can like suck on the hole and still feel it. So I have a suspicion that that is still open too. So what is that, 4? 2? So the next question, how many tattoos do you have? Probably like 30. I'm not sure. As far as I know, my back is tattooed almost fully. 1.5 of my ribs are tattooed. 1 full arm, almost 1 full leg all the way to the top. And then I have some tattoos on my hands and in my mouth. So like that much of my body. What other modifications do you have? So I like this question. I thought that was cool. In my life, some of the modifications that I have had, I had my earlobes cut. So I had my earlobes stretched and then I had them cut so that they would sit in a more like aesthetic way in my ears. So that was pretty gnarly. And then I had my earlobes reconstructed surgically. So that was pretty gnarly as well. Snip snap. The Office. So I also have scarification on my ribs. So my scarification, it's not a procedure I regret at all. I do feel like it's not super prominent. It's not like super visible. It's obviously under my clothes, so no one would really see it anyway. And it's not something I really take a ton of pictures of or talk about in my current life, although I still think that they're really cool, and when people happen to see them, I'm always pretty stoked. I'm wearing a Wu-Tang shirt. So even now, you may not be able to see them. But they are right here. When did you get your first modification? So if we're talking about it like really basically, I had my ears pierced when I was born. I was born in Philadelphia. I guess that's just something they used to do at the hospital. If it was more like a piercing I consented to, I think I had my second holes pierced in 7th grade at like Claire's, don't recommend. And I had my belly button pierced when I was like 14, so I believe that's also like 7th or 8th grade. I don't recommend that either. I think I had my tongue pierced when I was 16. Like, just imagine the movie 13, but like superimpose my face. Any modification plans? I don't really know. I hope to continue my back tattoo. If you are imagining my back tattoo, I have a whole playlist on like my journey to get it. I'll leave that right here. If you're imagining my back tattoo, it is my upper back. I wear everything high-waisted. Even now, these trousers are high-waisted. So it does have the illusion that it's my full back, but it definitely stops around the small of my back. And I would like to continue it at least to the top of my butt. So there's still like this much that has to be incorporated. That's my major plan as far as like modifications go if we're counting tattoos. If we're not counting tattoos, sometimes I think about getting my nose fixed. Like I said, like that septum hole is here to stay, and it does cause like a lot of like I'm blowing my nose all the time forever. Like I kind of have the sniffles always, and I just feel like having a big hole in like my nose doesn't really help. I sometimes think about getting that fixed. I don't know if that's something I can afford. So if you've ever had a nose job, let me know in the comments if that shit is affordable. I'd love to get that fixed. That's something I think about here and there. Sometimes I think about getting the hole in my lip fixed, but not really. Sometimes. I think people only notice it when they first meet me and then they get used to it. So as long as I don't meet anybody new, I don't have to worry about it. Your favorite modifications. I'm not sure if this is like on people or on me specifically, but on me, I definitely do love my scarification piece. I think that it's the bomb. I love it. On other people, I always love like a full back tattoo. I think that they're really dope. I feel like it put me in like a special little club. So I was like running into somebody else who's in it too. I got to take this really cool picture with a couple people who also have full back tattoos by Mark Cross. He's who did mine. And just being able to take this picture was like awesome. And being around people like that was like so cool. So I would say that's my favorite. My least favorite modification, I don't know. I never really got one that I didn't want. I did have my nostrils stretched to like an 8 gauge, and sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have stretched my septum. I think about that. So I'm gonna say that on me. On other people, it's really cool. I still see people who have a stretched septum and they wear the plug in it, and when you look at them through the side, you can see through it. That was my goal. I still think that's dope. I just like have a cold 100% of the year. Worst modification misconception. I think a misconception that people have is that like modified people are bad people. I don't think that that's true. I think there's always a bad egg in every sort of niche group. So I would hate people to be spoiled for that. You know, I think on my own YouTube channel, I had some laser tattoo removal, and a lot of people like were throwing around the word regret. And I think that like modified people are a group of people that are put under a spotlight because people tell you from the beginning you might regret that, and then at the end they're like, I told you you would regret that, even if you spent years with that modification. Like, I think I started stretching my ears in the 8th grade, and I had my earlobe reconstructive surgery when I was 25. So, you know, obviously I had a decade run. Within that within that amount of time, you would want to change anything about yourself, you know. That would be like if you went to the salon and they were like, oh, you want blonde hair, you're going to regret that the next time you need to come here. It's like, I just changed it. Regret has a different idea. Like, so I think that regret is something that gets thrown around a lot. I mean, I talk about tattoo regret a lot on the channel, and I think there's always a watchful eye on you as a modified person. For somebody's waiting for you to change so they can ask you, did you regret that? And live your own life. I don't know. So I think regret is weird. Like, get away from me. Your favorite modified person, celebrity, model. I think I should have thought about this a little longer because I don't really have a great answer. I think, you know, I grew up on BME Zine, which was a body modification encyclopedia kind of forum. And those were the people who inspired me to continue body modification and to learn about it. There was a user on there named GoGo Vegan, and now she goes by GoGo Savvy. She was a body piercer, and 10 years ago, she was like vegan, bike life on BME Zine, and I remember I just thought she was so cool. I actually got to meet her a couple years ago, and she re-pierced my nose after I had closed it from being stretched. She re-pierced it with a hoop. I thought it was so dope. So I was really stoked to meet her. There were a ton of people like that in my life. I used to follow this user on Tumblr named Wendy. If you know me from Tumblr, you know her and I were thick as thieves, and she decided to remove herself from like any sort of internet spotlight or presence. She was a huge inspiration for me, and you can just no longer find her as from the public. She has a personal Instagram now. It's not the same as it used to be. She was so cool when she got her tongue split and she got scarification and everything, and I felt like her and I like bounced ideas off of each other, and it was really cool. So I always really looked up to her, and I hope I get to like meet her one day for sure. As far as celebrities go, I really like Grace Neutral's like YouTube series. I thought that was really cool, and I love that she brought that perspective out there. Her Instagram, Hey everybody, so you might notice it is like a completely different time now. So now I have lights on because it is daylight savings and clearing up my memory card for 20 seconds. Now it's pitch black. Your favorite modified person, celeb. I was talking about Grace Neutral. I was saying that I really like her show, and that it's produced for a curious audience, and I think, you know, it's really hard to... Hello, Ethan. You've scared me. I think it's really hard to put yourself out there in front of an audience who may not understand. So being this like heavily modified person and just going on YouTube and accepting anything that might come your way in order to put yourself and like make yourself visible to someone who might not understand. That's crazy to me. Your most and least painful modification. My most painful, I would say, was probably my scarification, because I did that without any numbing agent, as well as having my conscious punched. Though I will say that stretching my septum was a spicy meatball. My least painful modification, my least painful modification might have to be my earlobe reconstructive surgery, just because I did receive local anesthesia for it, and even though it felt hot, it didn't hurt. Also, my full back tattoo really hurt, to go back a question. So the final question is, how much did all of your mods cost? I don't, like a cool mill? Like, I don't know, between like buying jewelry, like stretching my ears and like buying all the jewelry for that, and the tapers, and going up each size, and buying like the best stones and weights and everything. I mean, that probably cost hundreds of dollars. Having my earlobes reconstructed cost $1,000. My back tattoo. I mean, I feel like when you talk about prices like this, it gives people a weird perspective. But this is something I've been interested in my whole life. Like, I never played sports or like snowboarded or anything like that. Like, this was the thing I was into. So I try not to get too caught up on like how much everything costs. Not because that number is really personal, but because people who are on the outside don't really understand. So I'm just going to say a cool mill over the span of my entire life. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for tagging me. I love being tagged in videos. Don't think that you can't tag me, because I love that. I hope you guys liked it. I know that I don't offer too much body modification content anymore, even though that's what my channel was originally structured around. So definitely leave a comment if this was something that you enjoyed, and subscribe if it's your first time here. I have a video where I talk about all of my piercing scars and go through what all the scars were from. I'll leave that link so you can check that out too if you are interested in more content like this. I love you guys, and until next time.